Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Continuing on, once again, to the west, which is that way, I guess. There's Wolfie. He kind of let out a high-pitched bark at the beginning there, but at least he barked. Just like that. But yeah, gotta watch out. Creepers like to hide in these trees, but I think I made a boat, so let's continue on. Farlands or Bust, once again. Like I always like to mention, we raised so far $2,263.79. We are at 7% towards our goal for Child's Play charity over at farlandsorbust.com. So thanks for all the support for that once again. And that's about that. Ooh, it's a 4-high sugarcane. You only see those every single day in Minecraft. But yeah, going on here, I'm glad everybody enjoyed my official first, or well, I'm assuming everybody enjoyed. I really haven't read all the comments, and I'm sure everybody hasn't watched it. But my first video from the Mindcrack server, it was about a half-hour long. Just kind of straight up thing. And I know I said in that episode like 2 or 3 times that I'm going to take it more casually. I'm not going to do any edits. And then I promptly started editing things because there were a few moments where I just stopped talking and I just wanted to cut that stuff out. It was kind of boring. So I don't know. Like I said, I still have to get used to that format a little bit more and get used to SMP a little bit better. So that was the first in what is hopefully many episodes towards that. And towards learning how to build things in Minecraft, which I don't obviously do very often. So yeah, there was that. I also right now have, it's going to go public in a few hours, the next Kerbal Space Program video, which by the time this video gets up will already have been up. And at the end of that, I had a little bit of fun, put in an additional bonus clip after the end credits. So if you... Careful, Wolfie. If you haven't watched that, or perhaps you did, but you missed the bonus clip at the end, go back and check that out. I spent a little bit of time on that. I actually had the episode done, and it was rendering, and then in the morning, while I was in the shower, I'm actually okay on the coal. While I was in the shower, I had that idea to do that extra clip at the end, and I actually, shower, that's where you have most of your best ideas. And it was already rendering, so I stopped the render, and I was planning on putting that clip in brown sheep. I was planning on putting that clip in at like in the middle of the episode as the Kerbin rise was happening, but I decided to put it in at the end so it wouldn't be so jogging to the experience, the immersion. But yeah, I spent quite a deal of time. I was really excited about that. I recorded the voice. Obviously, it was inspired by for those of you who know your space history, Apollo 8, their Christmas message to the world. Something a little fun. I of course mixed it up to be more appropriate for Kerbal, the Kerbin space program. The planet Kerbin is where they're from. But yeah, that's actually and this is going to sound incredibly cheesy and cliche. But I actually got very excited about making that and the process of making it, and then when I had the finished product, I was like actually quite giddy and like I applauded myself. That's crazy things you do when you work at home. But it's just something that I noticed. I never got that excited about my day job that I had for the past 5 years that I just recently quit back in July, and that. I don't know, I think there needs to be that element of, your pride or just being happy with what you're doing. And it's probably only happened, that's probably one of the first times I've really made note of it. I think there's a few other times it's happened, but not in my full-time work, and not maybe a couple times in school if there was a project, but of course school in art school, you just get to make whatever you want, so you can get giddy or excited about your projects there. Wolfie, be careful. But yeah, that was really just kind of it was a moment. I had a moment there, and I certainly hope it's reflected in, the time I spend in it is reflected in the 20-second clip or whatever it is. I maybe spent a couple hours working on it, working with all the different filters for the audio to get the audio to sound right, and I actually used the actual, I cut a piece and looped a piece of the static from the actual Apollo 8 transmission, and of course those mushroom on a tree, you are distracting me. I took a clip of the static, and that's what I used in the background of that audio, and then I actually took those beeps. There's a specific term for those beeps that you hear in old or even current space transmissions. Whoa, almost fell to my death. And then messed with some filters in Cool Edit Pro in the audio, and then also the filters in Sony Vegas. And that's something, just as a tip for you aspiring either video editors or even just Photoshop editors. Oh, that's a big floating tree. When you're doing stuff, special effects, or using filters like that, it's always good to use more than one, preferably like 5 filters on top of each other. Because like if in Photoshop you just use one filter, it's like everybody's going to recognize, oh, that's the mosaic filter or the radial blur filter. But if you like mix and match, even if it's just like 4 or 5% of one filter and mixing with another 3 filters, it ends up making its own kind of look. And that's what I did with the Sony Vegas filters to get that kind of old-timey. I was trying to match the old black and white transmission video from the moon missions, Apollo 8 in particular. But yeah, that was something I really enjoyed making that, even though it's inconsequential. Oh, hello, skeleton. Goodbye, skeleton. It's inconsequential in terms of the Let's Play part of it. It's just some little fun. Wolfie, don't mess with that skeleton. Wolfie, where are you at? Crap, Wolfie. I think he's over here. Yes. Okay. Whew. Let me get some treats in my hotbar here. What was I saying? So yeah, that's just really cool, and it's I enjoyed. I just ate that, didn't I? Damn you, Wolfie. Something I enjoyed. Yeah, that went. I enjoyed making, and gives me a little tickle of pride. That is a weird term, and I promise never to use it again. But yeah, let me start answering some questions. I have a whole bunch to go through here. Somebody who goes by Spatulo asks, have I ever seen the Northern or Southern Lights? And it looks like Spatulo said he's from the Netherlands, so I'm assuming he's very familiar with the Northern Lights. Unfortunately, no. It's one of those dreams of mine. I've never been far enough north, or I've never been into the Southern Hemisphere at all, but I've never been that far north to see them. There were a couple moments where there were some strong storms and they came down and were visible from Chicago and even further south. Either it was cloudy or I didn't have good luck enough to see them. But that was a timely question because just this past Sunday there was a CME, coronal mass ejection, from the sun. It was pointed at Earth. It was just below an X flare. I think it was an M-class flare. It was pointed at Earth, and it was very much predicted to intersect the path of Earth, and then we would get a geomagnetic storm, which is a solar storm where you get a lot of northern and southern lights. The aurora borealis, if you will. What am I making? A boat. Boop. Okay. But yeah, that actually happened on Sunday, and then it reached Earth on Tuesday evening, and it was touted to be one of the biggest in years, so everybody was all excited around here at least. And right on schedule it came, but that was while Europe was kind of facing, and actually I'm sure the Netherlands and Sweden, there are a lot of pictures and time lapses from Sweden and Europe. Northern Europe got a good display of the auroras. But unfortunately the storm, it was very powerful, but it died off really quick, so by the time it crossed the Atlantic, it wasn't much for the North Americas to see. But yeah, that was, and I was tweeting at Notch and the Mojang crew. I'm sure they're all familiar with them, being from Sweden, so it's kind of like, look at the Northern Lights. They're like, we see those every night, probably. They didn't respond, actually, but, whoa, is this all gravel? Crazy. This is one of the biggest gravel beaches I've ever seen. Amazing. Let me depart the boat. So long. I need to make a elevated hidey hole. Hopefully this doesn't update the blocks. Okay. Yeah, look at the size of this. Crazy. Let me do that, and we can go to sleep. And then that's something I'm like, they should add northern lights to the game. Like every once in a while you get, you know, auroras and stuff like that. But sadly, no, I doubt that's on their list of things to add to Minecraft. But yeah, let's go to sleep here. And awakeness. And let's try to get back in our boat-ness. Crazy, gigantic gravel beach of graveliness. Back in the boat. Okay, so yeah, thank you, Spechulo, for that question. Unfortunately, no. I'd like to go to Alaska to check those out one of these times, but traveling to Alaska is pretty expensive right now. So that's going to be on a couple years, in the 5-year plan to head to Alaska and hopefully check those out. Next question from Cody L211. Do you play any instruments? And if so, how long? Blah, blah. Not really. I own a guitar that is currently in the closet, as it has been for the past couple years. I got that back in high school. You know, when everybody in high school, oh, you gotta play an instrument, it's cool, you could be one of the cool kids to play an instrument. I kind of just messed around. I didn't really ever learn to play or teach myself or take any lessons. For a moment there, I owned an electric guitar, but I ended up selling it, because all I ended up doing with the electric guitar, instead of actually playing the guitar, I would just sit in front of the amp and like make awesome like feedback sounds and effects. Which now, liking bands like Sigur Rós and Radiohead, that kind of makes sense, because that's a major part of their music. But yeah, I used to have an electric guitar. It was a really cheap, crappy one, so I don't have that anymore. But yeah, that's really it. I took in college, because it was a requirement, I could have taken guitar lessons, but I took piano lessons, because they taught you how to read music, and Wolfie, watch it. They taught you how to read... Sandbar taught you how to read music and stuff, and I was actually pretty good at that. I enjoyed that, but I never, you know, I don't own a piano, so I never kept on doing that beyond college. But yeah, that was cool. But no, I'm not really, I don't play many instruments frequently. I don't, not much of a, I think I'm somewhat musically inclined. I took a few digital audio classes in college also, and ended up doing digital audio work and stuff like that, but I just never, it's something I never kept up. Obviously, I'm not a singer, as my throat closes in on me. So yeah, it's nothing I ever kept up with, unfortunately, but perhaps in the comments below you can let me know what instruments you guys play. Bazinga. Random bazinga for no reason. But yeah, thanks for that question. And once again, the food question of the day comes from, who is this? Yoshi Guy 1171. He's the Yoshi Guy. He asks, do you like slow-cooked meats, such as pork ribs? Interesting question. I like slow-cooked meats, I guess. It's not something I partake in frequently, but I do like ribs. I do like pulled pork sandwiches. There was a place in the area, but they went out of business. Well, I don't think they went out of business. They just like kind of scaled back. It's called Smoky Bones. It's a chain. It was a national chain, but then they pulled back, and I think I've only ever seen one again in Florida. But yeah, there was a Smoky Bones in my area, but they closed. But they had excellent pulled pork and excellent ribs. But most amazing were their buffalo wings, were just great. And I haven't yet been able to find buffalo wings. Careful, Wolfie. Buffalo wings to their standard. I think what they did is they baked the buffalo wings with the sauce, so that got like baked in. Whereas a lot of places you go now, like I don't like Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't like that either. Just the atmosphere, it's too loud, and I don't like it. But like the buffalo wings are just like, they're all the same buffalo wings. They just toss them in the sauce right before serving them to you. Toss them in the sauce. Poet and didn't know it. They tossed them in the sauce, but like Smoky Bones actually cooked it in, so I do miss those. But yeah, I do enjoy the slow-cooked meats. Such a random question. But yeah, there's that. Here's a multi-question comment from Master Volcon. Master Volcon. He asks, when am I going to have a next live stream? I'm not sure. I'd like to get into that again because it's fun and it's a little bit addictive. It's like you get on a live stream and then 2 hours later it's like, oh god, I've been streaming for 2 hours. But I'd like to. I'm almost wanting to wait until I get this new computer, because the thing that's really holding me back with the live streams is my processor. Because live streaming is very processor intensive from what I've read. And the newer, the i5 and even more so the i7 are better at, they're basically encoding on the fly this video to be streamed live. So I'm kind of waiting. This is weird. Oh, it's also spooky, apparently. Gigi, that's a sheep. Wolfie's doing a good job of hurting himself this episode as he disappears off a cliff. Oh god, there's a big giant chasm there. Wolfie, careful. Apparently something they changed in the next 1.1 update is the pathfinding of the wolves, so they don't constantly kill themselves. But Wolfie doesn't have quite that intelligence, because we're in there goes my throat again, because we're in 1.7.3. What was I saying? I was answering about the live stream. Yeah, so I don't know if I'll be waiting. I haven't had that much reason or much to live stream. I'm more or less focusing on making videos right now. But yeah, I might be waiting until I get my better computer set up. My internet surely is fast enough. Don't call me Shirley. But yeah, thanks for that question. His next question is, what's your favorite television show? It's hard to have a favorite. Obviously, Doctor Who is up there. I like The Big Bang Theory. They canceled Community, didn't they? Yeah, I mean, I wasn't watching Community myself, so I guess I'm at fault. But they put it up against Big Bang Theory, which is a difficult time slot to go up against. And now they've put 30 Rock up against Big Bang Theory, so I can't watch 30 Rock. But yeah, those are some favorites. I don't watch that much TV anymore, to be honest. I watch a lot of YouTube. It's just kind of a weird thing, but yeah. I mean, I've been watching Netflix TV shows recently. I just finished watching Arrested Development all the way through. I didn't do that before. I haven't watched that before. And then this was kind of cool over here. I got to check this out. And then I've been, hello, Zomble. I've just started watching Louis, which is Louis C.K.'s show on FX, apparently. Boring fight. Neat. But yeah, not really many favorites. He continues with that question, do you like Fringe? I love that show. Haven't been watching Fringe. I know some friends who are into Fringe, and it seems like something I would like. Something like a little bit Doctor Who-ish and along the lines of X-Files and things like that. But no, haven't been watching Fringe, unfortunately. And then he asks, did I ever think this series would become this amazing? I'm a very subtle and not, what's the word I'm looking for? Modest person, so I don't know that it's completely amazing yet. But thank you for the compliment. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Are these guys just spawning because it's dark, or is there an actual spawner over there? Sit down, Wolfie. We are going to investigate the... Oh, I thought this was 1.0. I was charging the bow. I guess those guys were just in a dark area. Yep. Interesting. How many arrows do I have, by the way? 2! Wolfie? There we go. Woof, yeah, I know. But yeah, well, thanks for the compliment, and I certainly hope you continue to think it's amazing, and you can continue sharing it with other people to continue growing the channel. And actually something that happened, it was 2 weeks ago, I think it was on the 15th, my channel got like 97th most subscribed in directors for that day. And I guess that means then I get featured as like a browse, on the browse, just the main homepage browse YouTube screen. And I picked up like 200 subscribers that day, and I'm assuming it's all from that. So hello, new subscribers. Thank you for clicking and subscribing based on the suggestion and on your YouTube homepage. But yeah, that was kind of amazing. I think that was the first time that ever happened. Whoa. Oh god, I fell in. No, don't come down here, Wolfie. I'm coming back. Whoa. I'm an idiot. Oh. What the hell? Wolfie? Okay, he's fine. I fell in. Send help. What's the matter, Wolfie? Kurt fell down the well? Ah, messy. Floating block. Indeed. But yeah, here we are. The sun is setting. I think I'll make my hidey hole over here. My laundry is done. Hopefully, well, I was about to say if you can't hear that, good thing, but I just pointed it out. There's a little buzzer in the background. But yeah, thanks for joining me on this episode of Far Lands or Bust. Wolfie. Thank you. I'm going to forget you're there if I don't put a light by you. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Far Lands or Bust. As always, by clicking like and commenting and subscribing, maybe I'll get another one of those featured daily thingies again, and we can, and the channel will continue to grow. But don't feel obligated. That's up to you. But yeah, I'm going to remind you once again to head over to farlandsorbust.com to contribute to Child's Play Charity, our fundraiser over there. We're trying to reach $29,220. So that's amazing, all the support I get. That's a great charity to get behind. They get toys, books, and games to children's hospitals around the world. It's a global charity, and that gets kids' minds off of whatever terrible reason they might be in a hospital for. So it's a good charity to get behind, especially for gamers. So I appreciate all the support for that, and the support for Far Lands or Bust. Blob, if you will. You can use that hashtag on Twitter. But yeah, certainly. Thanks for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.